What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and what a good win today. Just excellent. Very excellent. Before I talk about that, though, I do need to talk about the midweek, which unfortunately was not televised. So, I'll just do a quick update on that, what I heard, the highlights that I saw. Beat Bristol Rovers 3-2. Not bad, but not necessarily as good as it should have been. Obviously, 3-2, we got scored on twice at home by Bristol Rovers. That's not good enough. The lineup was fairly straightforward. No Terry, which was kind of surprising at first. He got subbed in later. But it was kind of surprising to me because he's the rock of the defense. You know, when you take him out, there's a lack of leadership back there. And you could see it, you know, especially on their second goal, the header. It comes in. No, the second goal is the penalty. The first goal was the header. Comes in, and Ivanovic just completely loses his man. There's no tracking. It was really, really poor. And it's off a set piece, too, which we're supposed to be really good at. So, really disappointing. And there's just a lack of leadership whenever Terry's not in the team. And you could see that even today. Like, there is leadership today. But defense was Ispilicueta on the left, or right. I don't know which side he played on. Anyway, Cahill and Ivanovic in the middle, and then Aina, who, from what I heard, played pretty well. I was actually listening to the commentary on it, and whenever he came off, like the whole ground was just roaring, like standing ovation for him. So apparently he did pretty well, but it's against the League One side, so not a whole lot to take from that. But it's nice to see that he did get a chance to play and hopefully impress. Then up into the midfield, he actually went with a 4-4-2 or 4-2-4, depending on what you want to say. Matic and Fabregas in the middle, and from what I heard, you know, they did pretty well. Moses and Pedro, I think, on the wings. Yeah, Moses and Pedro on the wings, and Loftus-Cheek and Batshuayi up top. And the goals were 2 for Batshuayi and 1 for Moses. From what I heard, this is commentary from Chelsea point of view though, so I can't really take this to mean a whole lot, but it sounded like everybody played pretty well. Pedro maybe not as well as everybody else did from what I could gather. Gave away the penalty on top of that. But, you know, the commentators were saying they were playing well, they looked good, they were controlling the game, but Bristol Rovers started throwing pressure forward, and they got 2 goals because of it. So, while it is a good result, you know, we're through. Still, you can't be giving away goals to a League One side, especially at home. 2 goals, that's not good enough. But yeah, you know, Loftus-Cheek apparently played pretty well in that holding striker role, so that's good to see. And then Hazard came on later. But yeah, so I just wanted to touch on that, say, basically from what I heard, kind of talk about what that meant. Because realistically, when you look at it, it's more worrisome than it is, oh, we won. You know, like that's kind of the thing that I don't really know about because I didn't get to see how they played. You know, it could have just been like 2 chances for Bristol Rovers, and you know, one's a penalty, one is Ivanovic loses track of his man and gives the guy a wide open header. You know, it could have just been these 2 freak moments that came out of nowhere, and the rest of the game is completely in control. Or it could have been, you know, they were creating just as many chances as we were. So I don't really know how it went, but I know that based on the score alone, you can really tell that's not good enough. You know, it's not good enough from us. It's not good enough from our defense. On to today's game against Burnley at home, and it looks so much better. There's still some troublesome parts that I'm going to talk about later, some frustrating things, but overall, it looks wonderful. It looks so much more exciting. I'm excited to be watching it. There's so many moments where I just get really happy to see them playing like they're champions again. You know, like the season when we won. It looks like that. It reminds me of that because there's so much flowing in the movement of the ball. There's so much just excitement whenever they play. They're really throwing everything forward and really controlling the game as well. Individual performances, starting from the back, Courtois didn't have a whole lot to do. So can't really say anything about that. Ivanovic once again at right back, and he did better. He still got some issues here and there. Defensively, he did okay today. A couple of times he did get caught out though, so that's the one thing that he needs to work on is making sure if he is going to push up, he's got to get back as well. But my biggest problem with Ivanovic is that whenever he gets the ball, generally it's not good. It's really scary because it feels like he could just give away the ball and then start a counterattack. It would be that easy. And a lot of the time he does, like, he'll send in a cross that's not needed. You could just pass it around, send another pass in. But no, he's got to rush the cross, and then now it's being given away. Now they're starting their counterattack. That needs to be fixed because he is mainly an attacking defender. That's one of the things that he brings is that generally he's good in the attack. He hasn't been this year, but so that's kind of the frustration there is whenever he does that stuff up top and gives away the ball way too easily. I'm sorry, highlights on the screen. Cahill, still not good enough. Very first pass of the game is a giveaway that luckily Madish was there to squelch. But there's so many times where there's no danger, but then Cahill's there, so now there is danger. There's one moment where Burnley hadn't been creating anything at all. Like, there's just been no chances for them. All of a sudden, ball gets played over Cahill's head, and it's just like, oh, nobody's getting to that. Cahill just jogging. Boak sprints around him, and now he's got the ball, and now Burnley has a chance. I'm just like, Cahill, what are you doing? Like, you don't let a guy in like that. You don't let them win the ball that easily. You've got to put either a body in his way or you've got to get to the ball, something. Because it was so bizarre. I'm just like, there's no danger, and now Cahill is lazy, and now there is danger. It's just, why? So, still frustrated with them. Still really, really need a center defender. Like, that is the main thing we need right now is a center defender. Terry, still great. Still just doing what he does. It's so easy for him. At least it looks easy because every time the ball comes in, he's in the right spot, heads the ball away, kicks the ball away. He's just putting in a good challenge every time. Azpilicueta played well again. Probably our best defender out of all four of them because he does more than just defend. He also gets up and does well in the attack too. So he does it all very, very, very well. Into the midfield, I've started to realize this. This 4-1-4-1 is actually more of like an interchanging 3-5-2. Like, everybody was talking about that. Will he go with the 3-5-2 when he comes to Chelsea? He kind of has, in that Ivanovic and Azpilicueta do get up a lot as more wingbacks, and then Conte almost drops in with the other two defenders and becomes that third defender. Like, there's so many times where I see he has the ball and you've got Terry and Cahill on either side of him. Like, it works out so well for him, and it's working out well right now. So that's good to see. It's nice to see that their formation is doing very well. But yeah, Conte played well. I constantly hear them talking about how he's just breaking up the play, and it's true. It feels like every single time that the ball's about to come out, that Burnley's about to start a counterattack, Conte's right there, stepping in, meeting the challenge, not letting them get any luck, any joy on the ball whatsoever. He's just right there. There are a couple times even where it seems like, I don't even know how to describe it, but it seems like the guy's made it past him. And I'm just like, Conte, why'd you have to make that challenge? Like, now you're beat. And all of a sudden he's poking the ball away and starting our counterattack. Just, wait, what happened? I don't understand. Like, I didn't think that this was our counterattack, and now it is. It's so funny to see just how quickly it changes around. Ahead of him, Madish and Oscar again. I don't mind seeing it, but I still would rather see Fabregas there just because I feel like he would create a lot more than Oscar does. But Oscar does bring a lot of pressure on the ball whenever Burnley has it. So that's one thing that he does really well, is that even though he doesn't create a whole lot going forward, whenever Burnley gets the ball, Oscar's right in their face. If Conte's not there, Oscar's there. Now Oscar's starting the counterattack as well. So he's another player that can win the ball back and start our counterattack. So that's nice to see. Matic, I thought, played much better today. Several moments where he's not only putting in a good challenge, which is what he did 2 years ago, now he's starting to play well with the ball as well. He's starting to move the ball around very quickly. So it's good to see that it's not just him putting in a good defensive challenge, and that's the only reason he's in there anymore. Now he's actually starting to create stuff going forward. Still not good enough for me, but I mean he's serviceable for right now for what we need. But I still think if you put him alongside Fabregas, I think that's your best midfield at this moment, ahead of Conte, of course. Hazard and Willian on the wings, both of them that got goals today. Both of them played really, really well. Everybody keeps saying it, and I've been saying it for a couple weeks now. Hazard is back. I mean, he looks so quick now. His play is so much better. The goal was typical Hazard, driving at the defense, have a shot with the inside of the right foot, bend it into that far post. It was just so Hazard-esque. I don't know how else to say it. It was brilliantly placed. And then Willian always has just so much energy. He's flying forward, got so much speed, got himself a good goal today. So the wings right now are just really tearing it up, and that's where, whenever Pedro comes in, which I'll talk about him in a second, you really start to lack something out there because he doesn't have that same incisive movement that Hazard and Willian do, and Moses to an extent. So I think that just looking at this lineup right now, it doesn't matter whether Fabregas or Oscar is in. It doesn't matter whether Ivanovic, Aina, whoever is in the defense. We're going to get chances going forward. We're going to finish some of those chances because Hazard and Willian are just on top of their game right now. And that's where a lot of it comes in. Costa up top didn't get himself a goal, but was still a threat today. And I think we need to start scoring earlier because I feel like part of Costa's problem is that he gets frustrated if we're not ahead. So I feel like we need to put ourselves ahead because today he looked a lot more relaxed. Maybe it wasn't just today. Maybe he's actually starting to change a little bit. But he looked so much more relaxed today. He looked very calm. He looked like he was, not really getting frustrated with some of the bad calls that were being made. So I think we need to start focusing on that. Not necessarily the goals that he's putting in, but focus more on the fact that his attitude hopefully is starting to change a little bit, so he's not going to get carded every single game for yelling at the referee. So that was good to see, so I'm going to focus on the positive for him. The subs are where the first frustration come in for me. I don't mind seeing Moses come in for Willian. Willian runs himself to death every single game. Moses, I like seeing him get a chance in the team. It's nice to see him get a chance to show what he can do. Got himself a goal late on because of it. And he's a good player. He does really some good stuff on the ball. So if we give him a chance to show that, I feel like he's going to reward, the team with some goals, with some assists. The frustration is the second sub. Well, technically, second or third, depending on how you want to look at it. Michy comes in for Costa, which I don't mind because you want to give Michy a chance to play a little bit. Even if in this case we're already up 2 goals, there's no reason to bring on a second striker alongside Costa. But the other sub is what bothers me. You bring on Pedro for Hazard. Now, it's not just because Hazard's in my fantasy team and I want him to score again. It's mainly because, 2 main reasons. One, why Pedro? I don't know what Pedro's done that Conte loves him so much, but he's been really, aside from Cahill and Ivanovic, who are just, they're bad defenders, Pedro, I think, has been our third worst player on the team. He hasn't done anything really going forward. The assist was a nice cross, but that's the one thing that I've seen him do in the past games that I've seen him play. I haven't seen him do anything worthy of getting a sub. So it's, Pedro coming on is just frustrating for me because I don't understand why Pedro. Also, you're up 2 goals. Burnley has started to really push to try to get a goal, to put some worry in Chelsea. Why not bring a defensive player on? You've got Chaloba, and I don't know what other defensive players we had, but I'm pretty sure Chaloba was on the bench, and I'm about to find out. I'm sorry, I should look this up. This app is really slow. I take that back. No Chaloba. But why? So now my frustration is why no Chaloba on the bench? But anyway, but you've got Aina, you've got Fabregas, you've got Loftus-Cheek to bring on. Aina, good defensive player. I don't see why not give him a chance. Fabregas, a player who for some reason hasn't featured in the side recently, even though he's done well. He did well when he came on, and I feel like he got an assist against Bristol Rovers. Loftus-Cheek, a young player that a lot of people want to see more of, give him a chance to shine. So I'm just blown away that he went with Pedro. And the third reason, now that I think about it, it's a dumb decision. Oscar's on a yellow for a wild challenge. And, he's still putting in challenges, not bad challenges, but he does put in a lot of challenges in the midfield. Like, that's one of the things he does well. I'm a little bit worried every time he goes into a challenge that this might be the one that gets him the yellow. So why not sub him off? Why not get Fabregas on? Why not let him... I don't know. Mainly, my biggest concern is just the fact that Pedro hasn't really done anything to convince me he deserves to be on the field. But there's so many other little reasons why you shouldn't bring Pedro on for Hazard. Why take Hazard off? Why put Pedro on? Why not Oscar? Why not give some of the youngsters a chance to play? You're 2 goals up. Why not a more defensive decision? It's so bizarre to me why he came on. And aside from the assist, he lost the ball several times. His dribbling is so sporadic and not smooth that it feels like, maybe in La Liga that works, but in the Premier League, that's not going to work. The defenders are going to body you off the ball. There's going to be one that as soon as you touch it past him, the other one's about to step in because his touches are so long. He's just not that good of a player, at least not for what we need as a sub for coming in for Hazard. So either Cuadrado's got to get a chance, Kennedy's got to get a chance, but no more Pedro. No more Pedro. He's the worst of our winger options in my opinion. Even though he did get the assist. Maybe I'm just a negative thinker. Anyway. But so that's my one frustration. My other frustration with this game overall is that there's still a moment in the first half, and actually didn't really become much of frustration after a little bit. But there's a moment at the end of the first half and at the beginning of the second half, if we're only a goal up and the other team starts to find some space and some possession, there's a moment where it feels like this isn't enough. This one goal isn't enough, and it doesn't feel like they're really pushing for a second goal. Now, I say that we ended up getting a second goal a few minutes before halftime. That's what I want to see more of, but I want to see it sooner because it was from like the 33rd minute to like the 40th minute. There's a spell of possession for Burnley, and it didn't feel like Chelsea was doing anything to really push forward and get another goal. And one goal is not enough, especially against a team like Burnley. One goal is not enough. Burnley are going to pack it in, and try to counterattack. And with our, Terry's slow, Cahill and Ivanovic are terrible. Chances are they're going to get a chance or two. So you really shouldn't be sitting on a 1-goal advantage. It should be a lot more than that. You should really try to push forward. And ultimately, like I said, they did. They found that second goal. But I don't want to have that spell of possession for the other team every single game. I don't want to have those 10 minutes where I'm sitting here like freaking out because it just feels like, oh, they're about to score any second now. Like it's coming. They're going to equalize. It's not going to be good. So minor frustrations, one sub, one moment in the game that was frustrating. So they're very minor frustrations in an overall really good game. Like 3-0. We dominated possession. We dominated the play. It never felt like Burnley really had much of a chance of winning this game. it always felt like Chelsea were going to get 3 points. Even if Burnley did equalize in that moment I was talking about, it felt like Chelsea would just roar back and get 2 or 3. So, good game overall. Good team performance. I thought they played very well. I love this high press that Conte's got them playing because it's so fun to just sit here and constantly be on the attack. You know, every single time Burnley's trying to get out, oh, Chelsea's pegging them back in again. It's back at them. It's back at them. And it felt, I mean, if it weren't for Tom Heaton, we would have won by like 6. So he had several good saves today, and it just sort of shows how many good chances we had as well. So overall, really good game. Really happy with what I saw, and can't wait to see. Obviously, we got the international break next weekend, but I can't wait for the weekend after. Back at it. Gonna really take it to the next team, I hope, and I'm really excited for this season. Like 3 games in, 3 wins. It's a good season so far. It's a good start, and I hopefully will pick up somebody in the transfer window before it closes. I will do one video at the end of the transfer window, at the end of August, to sort of recap the transfer window and sort of talk about some of the stuff surrounding rumors and stuff like that. I don't ever think I did a video about Conte coming in, so I've got to talk about that as well. So yeah, look forward to that video. Look forward to the next game, and let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. What do you think about my opinions? What are your own opinions? Stuff like that we can talk about and discuss. Leave a like and subscribe for future Chelsea reviews, and as always, Chelsea! Peace out.